Hope is essential with recovery. If you don't have your own hope, borrow someone else's, and that will do just fine in the meantime, but hope is vital to recovery. Without hope, I would have committed suicide. I tried on many attempts, but it was the constant hope that other people had and belief in me that got me through it and that kept me together. I started having difficulties with depression in grade school because I suffered an accident and had facial paralysis, and that ostracized me from my friends, and so I got a lot of rejection from that. And I also was hearing impaired. In college was the first time that I sought treatment for mental illness. Before that, mental illness essentially was not acknowledged in my family, and neither was hearing loss. And there was a lot of stigma associated with it. So a lot of hiding went on and just trying to get by. In order to get a psychiatrist, I drove 90 miles because I didn't want anyone to know, to Pittsburgh, and saw a psychiatrist at the university, and was treated for the bulimia and for depression, and I received antidepressants. I got extremely depressed and threw everything away that I owned in my entire life. And when my parents realized I had done that, they essentially threw me out. So I was very traumatized. My mother and father were just furious. And I got in my car and decided I would drive as far away from them as I could get so they could not hurt me anymore. And I drove to California. In California, I lived in my car for approximately 8 months and worked as a certified nurse aide at different skilled nursing facilities. When I first was out there and living in my car, I became very suicidal. It's the first time I was suicidal. And I called a suicide hotline, and they directed me to Harbor General, UCLA, in Torrance. I went there and was placed on a 72-hour hold and then a 14-day hold after that. And that's when I first started getting aggressive treatment for depression and bulimia and suicidal thoughts. I went to a residential group home, and then I went to a partial hospitalization program. And then I was able to get a job and an apartment, and I felt like I was in recovering. And the particular psychiatrist that I had believed in me and believed that I could get better. And without her belief, because I was hopeless, I did not have that belief, but she believed in me, and because of that, I was able to get through and initiate recovery. It wasn't too much later that I met my husband, and we lived together for 2 years. I wanted to make sure that he was a stable person, and then we got married, and we've been married for 22 years. And that relationship is vital. He believes in me. He doesn't care that I have mental illness. He doesn't care that I have bulimia. He doesn't care that I have depression or bipolar disorder or attention deficit disorder. He thinks I'm just the greatest thing walking around, and it's amazing. The mental illness part is like water off a duck's back with him.
Bye. I like leaving my hat on and nobody can see.
Of course, it wasn't too long ago that I was practicing bulimia and my blood sugar dropped extremely low, and I fainted, and my electrolytes were not in balance, and I started having seizures. From the fall, I ended up with an epidural and a subdural hematoma and having a left temporal lobe craniotomy. Because of my addiction to sugar and carbohydrates, I got involved in a 12-step recovery program. And the support of the groups, I went every day for 10 months. Work is very important. It adds structure to my life. It gives me a reason to wake up in the morning and get in the shower and get dressed and get in the car and drive somewhere. The colleagues that I work with are essential. I start work at 6:30, so I usually get up at 4, and I'll take a walk, or ride my bike in the neighborhood when it's very quiet outside. I like the silence and the stillness. Then I drive to either the office or to a facility, depending on what day of the week it is. When I go to a facility, I will go to the various psychiatric units, mental health units, and interact individually with the patients. I essentially tell them who I am. Hello, my name is Myra. I'm a registered nurse. I'm called a patient's rights advocate, and I'm here to see if you have any questions, concerns, compliments, or complaints about your hospital stay. All the staff at all the facilities know that I have bipolar disorder and that I take medication, and they see me functioning well in the work environment. And then they see patients on their units with very intense acute symptoms, and they say, oh, that could have been Myra. And that person who looks utterly a mess and disheveled and hasn't bathed maybe for 2 weeks and has dirty clothes on and is delusional and hallucinating can be to a functional level like I am. When I have a manic episode, I get very hyperverbal and rapid pressured speech, and I'm kind of in your face and intrusive, and my personality tends to expand and take up so much room. And I try to catch that as early as I can, and I get to the psychiatrist's office, I immediately make an appointment with the doctor so that we can make some medication adjustments and get the situation under control. My medications are vital. They always have been very important. I think God must have a plan for me, because I truly intended to kill myself many times when I made suicide attempts. That was my intention, and I took good measures to make sure it would happen. For some reason, each time something happened and it didn't work out. Having people that believe in you is vital as well. My husband believes in me. The doctor that I had for 14 years, she always believed in me. My counselor that I see every other week now believes in me. Having the people at the 12-step meetings believe in me. Having people that believe in you is just phenomenal toward achieving success. Having someone that you can just love to pieces and you know won't betray you in any way.
A lot of times Myra's having problems and she doesn't see it herself. So I tell her, because it's hard to see, something yourself, but a family member can tell you, hey, you're not acting the way you normally do. What's happening?
And Joe loves me to pieces. He just does.
Yes, I do.
And I'm aware of that, and I know that, and I have so much confidence because of that.